Now, today we have a couple of things on the agenda. I think we will start with a little discussion about a selection of case studies, and once we have Esther with us, we will have a look on NVivo. Also, Michelle has something to mention about disclosing information about your contacts and stuff like that. Is there anything else you want to add to the agenda? Is there anything else you want to comment or talk about, including you, Anne?
Not at the moment.
Yeah? All right. We will see how things work. We will start talking about case studies. I think most of us are doing case study research, and the selection of case study is essential, right?
But I think we can start off by discussing what exactly are we considering cases in all our research.
Yeah, let's go very quickly around the table and talk about what are cases for each and every research of ours, and what is the case for each research, because it's different from one person to another. Who would like to start? Sakina, would you like to tell us a little bit about what a case study is in your research?
I have multiple case study for my study, for my research. Can you hear me clearly, Anne?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I have 4 cases altogether. So talking about the case itself, I think at the moment, from my understanding, my case is the leadership of the leadership style of women principles.
Yes.
Because my understanding is based on Yin's idea that a case can be a behavioral event in an institution, in an organization. So what I can understand now, my case is the leadership style. And I'm not sure after I analyze. And
that's interesting, because
kind of
we started with you, and you have a bit of a tricky case study, because for you a case is behavioral.
Yes, the leadership style.
Yeah, a leadership style. And you're doing your research in
school.
How many schools?
4 schools.
4 schools.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you consider each school a case study? Or is it because, no, you can't, because within each school you will have different people and different cases, isn't it?
Yes, different people, but the selection of the participant is the same. I mean, the principal
Yes.
Are my main participants, and then the senior leadership teams, teachers, students, and administrative staff. But why I said my case is the leadership style, the behavioral events of people in the institution, because what I want to understand in my study is about the leadership style. How do they work? I mean, the women principal works with people around them.
Right.
So I will look more on their behavior, their communication, their relationship.
I see.
Yeah.
Yes. Asima, what about you?
I'm still in the process of finalizing
figuring it out.
Yes, but the thing is that I'm also looking at leaders, head teachers.
Yes.
But then, as I've read in a number of books, I can't find the exact statement that you need to look for. The case should be, what is the word for that? Yes, you should choose a case which is manifested through something.
Right.
I mean, just talking about leadership style, that's where I'll get you the exact that definition. It's somewhere in the book. That you just can't say that leadership style. What I understood was that if I'm looking at a head teacher, I just can't say that a head teacher is my case. No,
right.
Because I'm not looking at the head teacher in complete totality. I'm looking at only one aspect. So that is what is called bounding the case.
Okay.
So bounding the case is very important for any case, and I think this has come across in every book.
Right.
So when you have to bound a case, you're only looking at one aspect of the case. So I'm looking at the beliefs of the head teachers. So that is how I've bounded. So it is, those beliefs are manifested through the leader's actions.
Yes.
And that is how I'm going to study that
and
case.
Each leader or teacher is a case.
Yes.
Case study.
So I mean, I have actually 2 levels.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm still trying to put it in define it in a coherent way
Yes.
for everybody, that there is a cross, because it's a cross-cultural comparison.
Right.
So I'm looking at 2 countries.
Okay.
But then so there are similarities and differences and points of comparison between the 2 countries.
But each case would follow under a category, either here or there.
So,
right.
But at the same time, I think my meeting with Michael Hammond yesterday.
Yes.
So he again said that you have to be careful when you're using the term case study. He said you can simply call them cases.
Okay.
So I came across this book when I was doing my upgrade about a comparative design.
Okay.
So it's simply called a cross-comparative case, or a cross-comparative design, a cross-cultural research. And I think I feel more comfortable in calling my research that, because I'm not using the case. I will be, and this is what Michael Hammond said, that you just have to be careful in using the language, how you are going to express your...
So pay special attention to using a special term, which will come loaded with...
Yes. So he said that
information.
It's safer to say that you borrowed some aspects of case study design. And what are those aspects? Then, bounding the case and different aspects that actually click, and that actually relate to your research. Yin's book I've been reading for the last many days, but it didn't make sense to me. I mean, in some ways. I actually wrote down a very conflicting kind of a statement from Yin's book. And he has, in the first few pages, he has defined what a case study is. And he says that it investigates a contemporary phenomena in depth and within its real world context. And then on another page he says that first, case studies are not the best method for assessing the prevalence of a phenomenon.
Oh, really?
So yes. So Michael Hammond was like, I don't know, he might not agree with him, but I mean, it's not I don't agree with him, but there are, when I looked at
this... It is
this...
good to be cautious when you're using case study.
Make
sure your research falls
at,
into case study research. Right. Anyone else wants to tell us about what cases are in your research, if you are doing case study research?
Mine is also...
That's okay.
Okay. Mine is a multiple case study. So I'm investigating usefulness of instructional design models. So I have 3 different cases. The criteria for the case is that I'm testing the model for 3 different kind of learning. So one is focuses on the theoretical aspect of learning, and then the second case focuses more on the practical kind of learning, and then the third case is a combination of 3. So I'm bounding the case based on the type of learning. So and then I'll see how the cases the model works across the cases.
Good. Hissa.
My case is a purposive case study, purposive selective case study.
Yeah.
Which is a higher education institution in Saudi Arabia, has high-ranking
officials.
Yeah.
Senior managers. Yeah. Those are the people you are interviewing.
Interviews and online questionnaire.
So you're doing like mixed methods.
Because
when you say questionnaire,
qualitative, I'm mainly
qualitative questionnaire.
I'm mainly qualitative, but I use online questionnaire to give me initial, to help me to select the appropriate participant and to give me initial data.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, which is I use online questionnaire as a supplementary method.
That's good to know. Yeah.
Yes, this university has got national and international accreditation and developing a good quality assurance department, and helping another university within Saudi Arabia in this regard.
They have a quality assurance department? This is not you can't find it in every university, by the way. This is very good.
Yeah. Deanship, actually, not department, deanship. It is like a college, complete college for quality assurance.
So what would be a case? Would the case be the person you are interviewing, or you are looking at the whole university as one case study?
I looked at the whole university as a case study.
Yeah, because my research is very similar to yours. I am doing quality management in UK-based universities, and I have 4 case studies. Each one is a different university. So for me, a case study is not person, it's not behavior, it is the whole institution. And I have 2 post-92 universities and 2 Russell Group universities. So for case studies in general, a case study for me is a university.
Mhm.
And for that I am doing
Amazing.
interviews with many members of staff, different managerial levels, and I am doing literature review of their website and their
Okay,
publications.
And just for the, because you people are looking at particular, she's looking at one university and I think you are looking at more. But are you studying each and everything about that particular case that you call it a university?
Yes. No,
Which
no.
includes
Everything that
documents.
relates to quality.
Yes.
Everything that relates to
So that-
quality of
that-
teaching and
yes,
research.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I mean, you need to write that it as that you're looking at that aspect of that particular
Of course.
case.
Yeah, you have to make it very clear.
Mm.
And when you are when you're doing your literature review, you have to be very blunt with what you accept and what you reject, because there is so much to read and so much to write about. You have to be very clear about what you want.
Yeah. I think in regarding case study, if you select one, you will go deeper. If you
Yes.
select more than one, you go wider.
Yes,
Yeah.
you won't have
That's
the
what
chance
I
to
learned
go
from
deep.
Michael Hammond,
Yeah.
told me at the beginning when I did ARI Massain.
Right. Yeah.
If you do more than
When you have one, you can get like
deep.
really deep and get a better understanding. So it's different.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else? Yeah.
I'm a bit confused now. I thought I knew and now I don't know. I really struggled figuring out what a case was for me, because I worked with 10 postgraduates from across Vietnam, and most of them came from the main national university, but within that they have universities for different disciplines. So they have a university for science, a university for economics and business, a university for languages. So first of all I thought, okay, my 10 participants, they must be my cases, or they're my case studies. And then I thought, no, maybe the universities where they came from are the case studies and they're my units of analysis.
Right.
Possibly, but then I think, well, hang on, in the economics and business, there was only one person who I spoke to from that university. Does that make sense? So I don't know if it's possible for one of the member universities to be a case study, but I've only spoken to one person. I don't know if that fits or not, so I'm stuck now. I don't know what do you think?
Well, I like the idea of having like the unit of analysis as a subgroup. Within one case study, you would have possibly multiple units of analysis, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Well, I can relate to that because I have been looking for a name for the person that I'm interviewing, because the person, he or she, is not a case study, and it is a unit of analysis. But again, not necessarily, because you cannot look at him or at her as a standalone unit. It is part of the whole case study. I mean, dividing it into that would mean you are going to lose some fidelity, if that makes any sense. Don't worry about that. I'm just going.
I had the same problem before my upgrade presentation.
We will go back to that because it's an open thing. Yeah.
I hope that I had a case study approach to my research.
Yeah.
But the panel told me that I have to think better about my cases.
Okay.
I hope that my research is about needs assessment of parents, how to raise a child with autism in Greece. I hope that my main study, my main case was the provision of autistic children,
Right.
of school autistic children. And the two small units are the groups of professionals and the group of parents. But
So you have one case, right?
yes, the main case is
You are studying one child, and that is your
No.
case study, and you are looking at the parents and the professionals and how they affect them. I'm sorry, I didn't get that right.
No. I don't describe a child only. In the beginning, I hope to have the experience of children and to use two children's diaries two autistic children's diaries.
Well,
but I realized that it will be very confused for me.
okay,
And what happens with the other children?
right. So maybe case study is not for you.
I think what I heard from you
I
is
wouldn't
not
say that's a
right.
case study. Yeah.
So
it's not a
I
case study research.
change.
Right.
Yeah.
What methodology are you using now?
Mixed method.
Mixed methods. Right. And you are looking at the two aspects, or
Yes,
two
yes.
influencers, like the
Professional
parents and
perspectives
professionals.
and parents' perspectives.
That's good.
It's
Shall-
on
I
correlation.
concentrate on
Yeah.
Kind of
combination.
thing.
Shall we move?
As Esther, are you using case study? Also?
Yeah, mine is similar to Michelle's cases because I have 11 participants in my study. But when I discussed with David yesterday, and he told me I treat each case as individual because each participant they read differently and then they use different strategies, even though they come from different field of studies. So what I'm doing for the analysis is I will try to bound these cases together based on the theory which underpin the strategies that are used by all these participants. So at first I was thinking of using multiple case studies, but that's not the case, like how Hazrati described just now, because I don't have different, like she's using, you're looking at methods and then you're comparing, and then the third part of the case is you combine the first and the second case study, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So at first I was thinking of using multiple case study, but it's not the case. So it is actually individual case study in my similar to. But Michelle is actually you are looking at students from different university, which is in one, and they are under one national university. But mine is they come from here, and then they just come from different departments. So not
I
so much
think
of a
Michelle is
problem.
different because she has to be very particular about what case study is. It's not easy to define a case study and to be able to then stand in front of a panel and say, this is a case study because A, B, and C. It's not a clear cut, as with other research. For example, with me, it's really easy to say this is a case study, but with her, it's more complicated than that.
I think
And how
it's more on how you
case
justify it. I think how you treat it as as a case study. Like mine, it is an individual case study because every participant that I'm studying is different in terms of how they approach reading text. So that is how I justify it in my writing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when you read about case studies, most of the books that talk about it, they're not as practical as you want them to be, except for Yin. That's where he shines because he takes you step by step. So hopefully you will be able to find a question, and please do follow up on that. We are interested in knowing how it folds out for you.
Because he is actually looking at case study in educational settings. So those who are Michael Basie, maybe you can read his book.
Yeah.
I have the book in PhD room. I will post the photo later in the Facebook group. So
Yes, please.
yeah, that
Do
is actually
give
based
us-
on, because Yin is very general. So if you want to look at case study as how it is conducted in educational
Yes.
setting, you can read that book.
Yes,
It's
I
really
think that's
recommended.
There is a new version, a new edition. Because I remember 2003.
It's my
Because Jen is also
Yeah.
talking
Michael
about
Basie.
experimental designs. Now, none of us are doing experimental
Yes,
designs.
I will write about Basie and Jin, and we'll have
Basie.
links
I will
for the
recommend that.
references.
Is
Yeah.
anyone using Miriam? As
I did read quite in the beginning, but
She
Common
has something
and-
about case studies in education.
Education setting too.
maybe
Setting
yes.
too, I think.
Case study.
So all of us have multiple case studies. I have one case study.
We have one.
I don't know whether it's case study, but I just
Krista has
have
one case study as well.
Oh, all right.
No, but you are
Yeah.
looking at the online.
Yeah, my case is the online community of independent game developers. So just one case, and the boundary is I'm focusing on the more active members of the community, and maybe I can say the unit of analysis is the social interaction within the community, and specifically in terms of participation and learning within that community. That is my unit of analysis.
But how can you call that community as a case? Although it will have multiple members within that community.
Yes.
So even then you're calling that a case.
Well, when I put it in a larger scale, on the internet there are other online communities as well. So I picked this as a specific case.
And you're doing qualitative or mixed methods?
Sorry? Mixed methods.
Mixed methods.
Yeah. Similar to HESA, I'm using a survey to have a sense of what the community really is, and then after that I do exploratory observation on the online community, and then followed by interviews.
And you will pick up a couple of people to interview them.
Sorry?
That's what Azima was saying. You might want to call each of those people who are going to interview cases.
Yeah, I'm considering that, but I don't know. Maybe that might be the case.
I think this may be also an idea that when we're all talking about, okay, so case study is one, whatever, approach or design. I mean, when you're looking at grounded theory, when you're looking at ethnography, phenomenology, and I think there is, probably one more. Or, are they all at the same level as, are they all from which we are choosing a case study from? I think this is the book. So the qualitative, so choosing among 5 approaches. So because we have just, all of us have selected, or that, there is, because when you talk about mixed method, so that's methodology. So we have not talked about our methodology, by the way. We've all talked about our research design.
Yeah.
I think maybe most of us
have
this some sort of like a mix of methodologies or approach maybe to things. We adopt some criteria of case studies, some criteria of grounded theory in our research, but we are not really doing a pure grounded theory, a pure case studies in that sense, I think.
Can I ask you, do you report the case study, the names of the case study in your research?
Sorry?
Did you mention the names, the case study?
You mean the term case
study? Is it anonymized?
Anonymized or?
No, the name of the community.
I anonymize them. I try to anonymize them. Anonymize them.
Anonymize.
Yeah.
I started with the same issue. I have this university is unique regarding the first university has it is the oldest and largest university in Saudi Arabia, and the first one who got accredited, international accreditation and national accreditation. I'm not so sure I'll be reporting the name of the university, or anonymize it. It will be easier to identify, because this my justification why I chose this university, because it is the largest and the oldest university, and the first university who developed a quality department and other university.
I have seen PhDs where they mention the name of the case study, so it's not unheard of. It is possible.
To mention.
Yeah, it's not a problem. Why not?
We had a presentation in the con, remember? Then Shailene who did that. The Church of he has named the school.
Right. Yeah, he did mention.
Shailene.
The one with
Church
a couple of letters.
Another thing, I interviewed some people who has a unique position.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned their position. I interviewed vice rector of equality. Everybody will know that.
Did you promise them it is going to be anonymized?
I promised them to
then
be anonymized,
I think
some of them said, I didn't care if you want to report, even my name.
Well, I think in terms of anonymity in our research, we can do only so much to just ensure to our best that the data, the personal data is anonymized. But when we publish that, it is entirely up to the community or the people who read that to interpret that piece of information.
Yeah, we will do that.
But you have done your part. You have followed the criteria.
I think if you would prefer to say the name of the university. Let's start by saying that, establishing that, because it will give you more validity, because you got access to the best university in Saudi Arabia. However, when you do that, and you promise, for example, the vice chancellor or the registrar or whatever is going to be anonymized, and you say when meeting with the registrar he said this or she said that, people are going to know who that is. So you either make sure they are okay with you saying who they are. If they agree to be, if they don't mind being mentioned who they are, that'd be fine. And some of the people you are meeting, some of them agree. إذا كانوا موافقين إنه تقولي مين هنين ففيكي. But if they didn't, this is what you can do. You can say, a senior leader of staff or a senior manager said this.
Yes.
Now you might be losing a little bit details because people don't know exactly who this person is. Like, is he the vice chancellor? Is he? But you can describe a little bit about his jobs. A senior member of staff who is directly involved with the quality assurance said this. This is something I see all the time.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Because I remember talking to my supervisor and she was talking about anonymity, and she said, even when you try to be anonymous, sometimes people can find out who you are talking about. And she gave me an example. Say you did an interview and you said, this interview took place in a more than 500-year-old university in the UK. So that's either Oxford or Cambridge. Now people already know. And then you say, the registrar said, and she said that. And in each university you will have one registrar. And maybe one of them is a male and one of them is a female. And people would immediately know who you're talking about if they are aware about the case studies.
Yeah.
So sometimes you try to make it anonymized, but if you have an information ninja, he can get exactly what you are hiding. So you have to be very careful with that. And she said you have to try to hide that even more. So don't use language that will hint which university you're. So don't say ancient university, because people would know exactly what university that is. But what I find more use is that no, you say it's an ancient university because that would give your research more validity. You got access to a great university, but make the hide the person, not the university, hide the person, not the case study.
Yeah.
So don't say the registrar, say a very high-ranking official, or say how they do when they have leaked information.
But when I report the sampling, I will say that I interviewed vice rector and something.
You can mention that earlier.
But when I report
but then when you say something that he said, you don't say this is attributed
but
to
maybe
him.
I think what he's saying is that you talk in terms of members or senior members of staff, junior members of staff.
But she also wants to mention. She would like to mention that I interviewed the vice chancellor because that would give her. I am doing the same thing. I am going to a top university, top 3 in the UK, and I am meeting the vice chancellor actually in 2 weeks. So I want to get that information across because that gives so much validity to my research. But I suspect he's going to be interested in it being anonymized, so I'm not going to be able to say his name. I will mention earlier that I met the vice chancellor, but then when I'm talking, I'm not going to say this is what the vice chancellor said. I am going to say this is what a high-ranking official said. I think that's the best way to go about it. Right. Shall we move on to Anne, please?
Yeah. We forgot she's there.
We forgot you're there. So hopefully because you just did your upgrade paper, I think you have a good, relatively clear idea about your methodology and whether or not you're using case studies and what case study would be for you. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Thank you. Yes, my methodology is based on action research, I think, rather than case study, but I'm actually taking part, I've got 3 schools that I'm actually working in, so I have an intervention that I'm going to be doing and measuring the impact of the intervention before and after. So I think it's more of an action research project rather than a case study project, although I'm doing it in 3 schools, so I'm comparing the responses from those 3 different schools.
And you're doing interviews within. Are you doing interviews?
Yes, what I'm doing questionnaires. I'm doing interviews. I'm doing document research on the work that comes out, and I'm also doing teacher logbooks.
Right. And how many case studies do you have? You said 3?
3 schools.
3 schools. Right. Well. Yeah, it's very similar to Sakina and Asma, I think. Yeah, but she's using. Is it mixed methods? Would you call it mixed methods because you're doing a questionnaire?
Yes. Yeah, I would definitely call it mixed methods research. Yes. I would definitely say that. Yeah.
Right. So you said, Asma mentioned something earlier about not calling case study a methodology, but rather a research design. I remember.
It's so confusing.
Yeah, I remember.
It's every book has a different term for that.
Yes, because you could say for you your research design is case study and your methodology is mixed methods. I actually remember reading someone saying a case study. It was an open discussion whether it's a methodology or a research design, and they said it is not this and not that. It's a research philosophy. So they added a new term. As you said, everyone has their own term.
Mixed method is actually
but it
method.
is interesting because here's what they're suggesting. They say, why is it called a research philosophy? Because you either believe that a case study is a valid source of information about a phenomena that could be extracted from it and then possibly applied to another case. Because if you don't believe that, then there's no point in doing a case study in the first place. For example, take someone from a purely applied scientific background. So these are the people who always do quantitative data. They might believe that a case study is not worth doing because it doesn't give you any information that is applicable outside the case study. So it's a state of mind. That's why they say it's a researcher's philosophy, whether you believe a case study is a valid source of getting information or not. So actually it follows under what we were talking about last time, epistemology. So it's an epistemic standpoint.
But you know what? Like case study, I don't think of all the cases I've heard, I don't think any of us can generalize these. This is somewhere where I read about it in a book. I think Stephen Gorard or somebody. I mean, you're not supposed to generalize the results. Yes, if you are doing it across different multiple cases, it gives you more allowance for making any generalization. But again, generalizations cannot happen. How can you generalize a Saudi university to a UK university, although your cases are absolutely the same?
Can't. But hopefully,
how can you So never. I don't agree with generalizing anything.
That's one of the
limitations. Should be
limitations.
transferable.
Yeah.
there is something transferable because let's get something straight. I'm not saying I am taking what she found in a Saudi university and applying it in the UK. However, it is valid to apply it in Saudi, in another university, or in the same university at a couple of years later when they want to say, how did we do it before? So there has to be something transferable, because if there is nothing transferable at all, then we're doing historic research. We're saying this happened and that's it. We are just recording the data.
Yeah, that's
It's like putting up a camera and just recording what's going on.
That's why the term we have to track carefully with the term general. We think generalizability and transferability.
Yeah.
Is it Yun who talks about our understanding of generalizability? He says there's a statistical generalizability,
exactly.
there's an analytical,
yes.
and the analytical generalizability then it's fine within.
But it depends from
That's the right term. So there is no statistical generalizability, but there is an analytical generalizability. I like that.
But it's
not
again.
for me.
Yeah, I know.
But I think it again depends on what you are studying. Like if I'm studying the leadership or some beliefs in a leader, there is absolutely no way that I can even think of using that term in my entire thesis, because it's just that I studied those people for their particular beliefs, and then I'm going to report them as they are. So it's just that I'm going to report them in a certain context, that they came from, the ones that came from England had so and so beliefs, and the one that came from Pakistan had so and so beliefs, and that's it. I cannot take the risk of using this term anywhere in my thesis.
Right.
But again, it depends. I think then it depends on what we have selected as a case.
I think that's the fundamental part of it. What is the case?
What is the case?
That's the
So you shed some light on that now.
We started by that question, and we realized we're not going to be able to answer it unless we just go around and say what was it for each and every one of us, the case study. So if you tell us about your research and what case study was for you.
Cool. So I think you said something here quite interesting, is you just discovered that some people see it as a philosophy, and some others see it as a methodology, while others see it as a method or a design.
Thank you.
And and I think all the three are correct.
Yeah.
It depends on what you define as a case from the beginning of the research, and this is because a case can be a single unit from which you want to extract specific contextualized information from. A case can be design methodological perspective you want to use to acquire data from.
Right.
And similarly, the case can be your epistemological mind frame from which you see how knowledge is created. So it always starts from how you want to define the case from the beginning.
Yeah,
and you stick to it throughout your research. Because that was the main question I was asked during my upgrade as well. What is the case? And that is, I think that's a fundamental question. So what is
I think we don't have to overcomplicate it. When you read in different resources, people referring to case study at using different terms, don't be put off by that. Choose the one that you self-identify with the most, that you like the logic behind, that you feel. For me, I like regarding case study as a philosophical standpoint, and just argue for that, and stick with it, as Henry said.
I think the last thing that you said, epistemological standpoint, exactly.
Yes.
So basically, yes. I mean, if I'm using constructivism,
you're saying, because and you know why I like that?
Yes.
Because you are saying before I go into case study research, I am making it clear that I believe case study research is valid and we can get information from it before using it. So you're making your standpoint.
As well as acknowledging the weaknesses of that stance.
So, I think the weaknesses was that the boundaries between phenomena and context may not be clearly evident. I think that's what you were saying.
That's not your fault.
That's not our fault.
That's reality.
They will ask you to draw the boundaries, but they're not very clear.
You just have to recognize it. It's not your fault.
Yes.
Right. So this brought us back to our last discussion about epistemology and research as paradigm. Now, I just want to share some resources that Hissa was generous enough to send me yesterday, and she said she wants everyone to have a look at them because essentially they could be very helpful for you in writing about your research as paradigm. Now, these are a couple of PDF files. These are book chapters that talk about research as paradigm, and a PowerPoint presentation that has the summary of what you need to worry about. Now, I am going to try to share my screen with Anne so she can see what we are seeing. And can you see my computer?
Yeah, I can. That's brilliant. Thank you.
Right.
That's amazing, Mohammed. I'm seriously impressed by your skills right now.
Oh, thank you. Can you see the PDF file, Anne?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So you can see chapter 3, choosing a mixed. Right. And can you read what's on the screen?
No, I can't. It's just disappeared. I think it's slid across.
No,
is she saying this? She's saying this one.
She's seeing that one.
That's why I'm asking, because I want.
Yeah. You have to.
Because I want you to see the big screen, and I want her to be able to see it as well. So I'm going to open it twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an easy fix.
So what we have here is a book chapter about choosing mixed method design, and they are going through a lot actually. And this is very valuable because it gives you resources. It's actually organizing the resources, grouping them according to what they touch upon, what they talk about. This and the other files are going to be on the blog, and you can, of course, download them. Let's see what else do we have. I'm going to leave this to the end. There we go. researcher's philosophy.
And it's easy to read, easy to understand from this ontology and epistemology.
Yeah, as Hisa is saying, this is an easy to read file.
Do you have anything on axiology?
No, I'm not sure. What exactly is axiology? I haven't heard it all.
There's epistemology, there's ontology, and there's axiology.
Oh, really? That's new.
You heard about it?
No. I don't know.
I had a class last week, and I was talking about it.
How would you, like, very briefly say it's different from? Because I know ontology is your worldview and reality, and epistemology is about knowledge generation. What is axiology?
It's about value, the value of the knowledge.
Ah, okay, that's interesting.
It's more authenticity and validity and reliability, trustworthiness.
And how do you say it again? How is it spelled? Axiology.
Axiology. AX. LOG.
Axiology. We have to. Well, yeah.
This is
If you go to the
research
PowerPoint,
audience.
Yes.
there is link for Mackenzie who say it's clear
This
that
one, right?
yes,
Yes.
go.
Is it in the end?
Yeah. There is a link. Go up a bit.
Okay.
Yes, this link. Open this link. This is for Mackenzie, who say this case study is methodology. You will see that
Someone who I read.
So he argues for the case study as being
it
methodology.
is like a diagram.
He has the right to do that. Yes.
The spinning wheel of doom.
The spinning wheel of death.
Yeah, that's it.
Spinning wheel of death. No, come on, live.
Don't
So
they
this
call
is
it-
axiology is completely different from
What's
It
that?
is,
Axiology.
yeah.
axiology.
Yeah.
Just copy the URL.
Yeah,
I mean, it's something
if I
separate
could
from
actually-
ontology and
Oh,
epistemology,
It's the
and you
third
need to
part.
tell them.
Yeah, the three
Oh,
parts.
okay,
I
okay,
like
okay.
You mentioned you kind of mentioned what you're talking about validity
Yeah,
and
yeah, yes.
reliability indirectly.
But they've just used a term for that.
Yeah, they have.
He says,
Enough
I mean,
for
this,
terms,
and
yes.
you go back to his book, Mackenzie, he said, research.
But this is
case
somehow
study
linked with
is a methodology.
when you're saying about your ontological stance or your epistemology. I mean, how are you positioning yourself? I mean, axiology is telling you that, isn't it?
Yeah, you kind of explained it this way.
See how he say that they position themselves in the study.
You find it in the book that Muhammad will share with
How
you.
you're doing
You have
that.
that. You have
Yeah,
axiology.
yeah, yeah.
Let's say.
Because I just skipped reading this thing as well. I said I'm not doing all this too technical talk. Can I open this?
Yeah, so it has, this is a nice one.
This is a very good one.
I thought last week, when I was teaching English last week, I was talking about it, like, what is that? I never heard about it.
Good edition of you today.
Yeah, so it talks about going into your interpretation. So how you have the knowledge,
You can open that.
the reality of that knowledge, and how you make sense of the value of that knowledge.
You know what? I'm making a draft of what I've done. I've actually written a paragraph on how I'm positioning myself. So now I have a heading for that.
Yeah, it's good. I didn't write that about methodology. So.
Exactly. Are you done?
Well, partially.
Okay.
Right. Well, all these links are going to be, all these files are going to be shared on. I couldn't open it. It's a dead link, but we will find it. Did you open it?
Wow.
Okay. That's very interesting. This is going to definitely on the blog post.
Idea or something.
Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't open it.
You can copy that and do it separately. In the
Yeah, I think that would be
So
best.
is it a Facebook page or some new blog post?
Yes.
Or a new blog post?
Yeah. You are on the Facebook page.
Yeah,
There will be links in the Facebook page to these links.
Do you want to send the link separately?
Please, yeah, if you can send it on Facebook, that would be lovely. Just now. Now,
Sina, can I see this book, the author? I can read it.
When you're selling your methodology books before going, please contact me.
I expect that. It's the new one.
Yes.
Right.
11 different.
Okay, I'll look for it now.
Can we move on to talk a little
I'll
bit
just look for it now.
about NVivo?
Yes.
Yes. Who here is using NVivo? I do. Right. Maybe. And yeah.
I'm starting to explore Atlas DI.
Right. So okay.
Just started.
And are you aware of this software called NVivo?
Yes, I am. I'm thinking of using it, but I am not sure exactly how it works. So this will be very interesting for me. Thank you.
Okay, great. So, yeah, okay. Actually, we have Esther, who has some experience with NVivo, and she will just tell us quickly what exactly is NVivo, and probably how to use it.
Okay. So
You can use your laptop. You can use my, if you want.
You can turn the camera
Yeah.
towards
show you
the data.
how I did it. Yeah.
Shall we connect that?
Or what if Anne can? No, Anne can't see it like that.
Because it is much better if you can see the real data and how it is being
Yeah.
analyzed rather than I just explain about it. I mean, it's better if you can see how
Yes,
it's
yes.
carried out in the software.
Okay. Can you probably copy the data file?
And get something to eat so that you can join.
Can you probably copy the data file and load it on this computer so she can see the screen? We can share the screen.
But we have the Mac version of NVivo.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Maybe
different.
you don't
It's
support some of
different.
it because
It's
I
very
use
different.
the visualization function in
Okay.
NVivo, so I think Mac doesn't have that function.
Right.
Everybody in Mac.
Okay. Why don't you talk, and I will try to follow you on my version. So
What if we connect her computer over here? No?
no.
Okay.
Yeah. What? That's a good idea.
Yeah, and then we can have your Mac here so that Anne can see on the screen.
Ah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
People, amazing.
Yeah. So,
You are such
Problem solvers. I was just thinking about this. You can take a
this is RGB, right?
picture of the whole thing with Anne on the screen.
I didn't realise you were
Yeah,
back.
I've taken.
You take it?
Way ahead of you.
Okay, the silent research is doing something.
Sorry.
Yeah.
How long's the flight?
7 hours.
Oh, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, like 1.5 on the
That's not bad.
Yeah, just the time because I had to come in. It's so quiet.
Oh, really?
Shall we change this? Sorry. There you go. You can connect your computer to the screen. You need to take the white thing off.
How far off are you now?
Just a summit. Because he made me a review of it, and now they have a lot of work to do applications.
Oh, well, okay. What does it stand for? Oh, that's great. That's cool. That's very cool. Absolutely.
But you have access to certifications, like 60 days, each one you do.
I don't understand.
So they just give you access to Sage, you know, Sage, the website,
Yeah.
you go to access to
Oh,
I've never used it because I've done it twice. I'm doing one now. I'm doing an article from Celia.
I think that's a good idea.
Leadership and followership.
Look at that case study.
Mama,
It's 29 of this month.
I think it's
that's great though.
I'm just trying to embed business and holistic.
Right.
I'm so tired of remembering
Yeah, I got that.
like you.
What?
I haven't used it. I think that's something I use today, so I work with now.
It's not.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, guys.
Okay, for my NVivo, I have to for this one is the one that I did for the phenomenography analysis, where I analyze the cases as a collective cases rather than individual, because this is for the first phase of my study, which I'm using the phenomenography approach. So all the cases are analyzed as a collective cases. So these are all the participants I have, and this is where you put the transcripts. So if I can just click this one.
What year are you in now, Esther?
Yeah.
What year are you in?
Third year.
Okay.
So these.
I thought you were in the second. I was like, oh God, she's always in the second year.
Okay.
So,
you want me to?
This is here.
Yeah, in the interview, I should send it. In the interview folder. So all of the cases, if you want to see again, I put it here.
Yeah, just quickly if you show us cases and.
Guess up from the beginning.
Did you go to NVivo training here?
Yeah, I go to the training, but you have to like go to the training when you want to use it. Because if not, you will forget about it. So I went to the training many times, but it's not enough. It is not sufficient, and I have to learn from YouTube as well. Yeah. And it goes. You have to really practice it every day, and you can be really good at it.
Okay.
It must be enhanced hands-on experience.
Right.
So from the beginning, if you want to, there are two ways of doing it. If you want to transcribe using NVivo, you can do so. Or if you want to transcribe not using the NVivo, it's also up to you. But I like to use NVivo to transcribe because of it is more convenient.
So either you use NVivo to transcribe or not. What you want is when you have the transcriptions written, Word documents or whatever, you can then import them or transcribe in NVivo.
There are two ways of doing it. So it is up to you which way is more convenient to you. So for this one, if let's say you have all you just go to external, and then if you want to import documents, PDF, dataset, or audios, you just click whichever is relevant to you. So let's say if you want to import Word documents, you have to click from here, and then browse whatever file you have. So I have my interview in my box here. So I have it here. Trying to find so this is my interviews audio. So these are the transcripts. So let's say this one I transcribe using not through NVivo. So let's say I want to convert this one, so I just have to open it and then click OK. So it is there. So you just have to name the file. So you can see it here. But here, if you can see, there are notes because I've coded it. So there are references here. It depends on which notes I put them in. But this one, I just imported it just now.
When
so that's
you imported, there are no notes
yet.
yet.
No notes because I haven't done any coding to this one yet. So that's why it is 0.
What's a note?
Note is the way you put the themes. It is here. So these are the notes. So there are two folders here. One is free notes and free notes. And here is where these are not the finalized themes yet, because when I analyze, there are so many things during the analysis stage. So I just put everything there first, and after that, I have the finalized categories, which I put in my tree notes. But I just put it here. So it depends on how actually you want to navigate the folders in your NVivo. It depends on how you want to use it.
So a node represents a theme that emerges, that links all your case studies, for example.
Yeah.
And you have to do it by hand. You say there's a node and that's a node.
Yeah, you have to come up with the notes on your own. Yeah.
That's why when you because you just imported a new file, there are no nodes yet. You have to
you have to come up with it. Yeah. You have to identify. You have to read every transcript and then come up with the piece. But in the first stage, there will be a lot of categories, and you will have to do like maybe the first set of analysis, second, third, until you come to the end of the analysis. So after that, you can finalize the teams. Yeah. But just to bear in mind, because NVivo just help you to make your data manageable. It doesn't do the coding for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. You have to do the coding on your own.
But
it is not like SPSS.
So once you
Just
identify,
organize and manage the data.
but for taking out the themes, for example, so if I've read my transcripts through and I have the analytical categories. So now when I go back to NVivo with those analytical categories, so where would I put them in the nodes?
You can just put it here. You can come up with a new one. You can just create. Let's say you come up with a new one, so you can just create new folder here. Just click there. So new themes. Then just click OK, and you can see it there. So if there are any changes, latest changes you did to your analysis, you can just create new folder. So you will have different version of folder to make it more manageable and to lessen the headache. Yeah. So that's how I do it. So these are the themes that I have for my I have the challenges here. So these are all the sources. So for example, if you look at this, maybe this one come from which participant. So you click to that and then unlock it. Okay, so this one is mentioned by HZ, my participant. So yeah, this is where the source comes from.
So if we went to the file called HZ, which will have so many nodes, we will find this node, one of them, and this is right in the middle where
only
the person is talking about this.
Yeah, only for that particular thing that you want to be included in the folder.
If we go back to the nodes view, when you look at it, I can immediately say this node, the background knowledge was mentioned only by one person.
One, yes.
Right. Okay.
But then what are
which
the
means
things under
reading material was mentioned by 11
people. Yeah.
Right.
So many of them. So you can see from the sources how many participants actually mention about that particular themes.
I see a difference between sources and references. What's that?
Yeah.
This is for the raw data, the transcript. And when you want to do the coding, you use the notes folder.
So sorry, if one interview mentioned one term twice, so we will have only one reference and two sources, or the other way around?
It depends actually. So for this one, is the sources, references also the same thing. It depends on. I mean, it is.
Yeah, but no, because this number is always bigger than this one. I think this is the interview, and this is how many times it was mentioned.
References,
in the interview.
the transcript, the text it is. Yes.
Okay.
And what is the difference between these challenges and the subheadings coming under that? Like expectation and motivation are coming under challenges. So you have defined that yourself?
Yeah.
So you define a node and a subnode.
Yes, you have to do it. You have to do the coding your own. You have to do it on your own. NVivo will not do it for you. That's the drawback of it. It just makes your data manageable.
So how the nodes came about? Did you have
you just have to click here, new node. Let's say
I mean, did you do any open coding beforehand, or do you have already a set of themes that you want to explore?
It is open coding based on after several reading of the transcript. Then after that, I can see pattern of responses given by the participants. So which some of the things which are I can see some consistency in some of the transcript itself. So that's why I come up with the things. But this is not. This is only the finalized one, because in the beginning I have a lot of it's very messy. Then I open new folder to make it more manageable. So this is actually more to the final outcome of my analysis. But this is for the colleague.
And just one thing, that all this work in NVivo, is it? Do you have a backup for this work?
Yes, I have the backup. So I just copy it and put it in my Word folder. Yeah, just to because this one it will expire in 2 months. So I just copy everything, the sources, and I just put it in the Word document.
Why will it expire? I think the university.
There is an expiry date. You also keep checking your. Mine one is also.
So you have to back up the transcript you have in NVivo.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I have the backup. Yeah.
But I think they will renew it.
You can renew, but
you
don't take
it?
you can renew it.
And
don't
Mac,
take any chances.
Yes.
Keep a backup.
Just keep a backup.
And for Mac, mine NVivo has crashed once. By the way, although I was only doing transcriptions.
So it is not very reliable. So you have to keep backups. That's a great tip. Keep backup.
Yes.
Yeah. So when it's working, it's really good, but sometimes it has problems. And the expiration, when it expires, I can renew it using the same key, but Or do I need a new
Different. They
key?
will give
They
you
will
very
give you-
Ah, so the university will have a new one.
They will have a new
Okay.
one.
Yeah, okay.
So
Generate keys are expirable in time frame.
There is in YouTube good videos explain in detail.
What using NVivo?
Yeah, in Vivo.
Do you know insert in the channel?
Yeah, I have probably I have some links. I will find them and send it.
Yeah, I remember.
Send it to him on the email right now.
Yeah, send it again. I got
He
that
will open
email.
it.
Thank you. Send the other one.
Mhm.
Send the interview.
But I have
The
to
YouTube.
because why like
No, not immediately. It's alright.
Okay.
When you can send the YouTube link, and I will put it on the Facebook and blog so
Yeah.
people can see
Because
it.
there is really
I
give you
think
in detail. I learn it in 3
Yeah.
days. I repeat the things.
I think NVivo, the company, they have a YouTube channel, and I remember seeing one of their videos.
Yeah,
But-
they have.
Yes, but it's
But
very,
it's-
but it's very concise and very
Not
summarized.
in
It's very
detail,
short.
yeah, not in detail.
If you have a detailed one, just
Yeah,
send
I
it,
have
and I
it.
will put it on the blog.
And one more function in NVivo,
Right,
you can use the visualization. For example, if you can use it in your thesis, in your write-up. For example, for this one, because I'm using phenomenography approach, so I have to explain how did I come to the categories. So I have the first round of checking. So these are the visual representation. So it's very useful. You can use it in your thesis. So it will look like this. Yeah.
These
So-
are the notes.
Yes, so these are the visual representation based on coding we did just now. So these are my predetermined and emerging categories, but of course during analysis, I try to only find those prominent themes. So that's why you can see here, because I've changed all this. This is the first phase, the first round of checking. So yeah, you can do the changes here, and then you can.
Right. Now these are the notes that you define,
Yeah.
and the links. It is a subnote, right?
This one
When-
it will
when someone
do
is-
for you.
Right. So when you have nodes and subnodes, it will generate it for you.
Yes, it will generate for you.
What does the red X represent?
This is actually the main node that I have and subcategories. This is the main categories I have.
Yeah, but like for example, under academic reading experience in the UK, like you have constructing something with the blue and mix with a red X.
Yeah, this is actually the first round. So in the next one, I actually cancel it because it is not relevant anymore. So that's why I have the first round and second round of categories checking. So it depends whenever you want to make changes to the themes that you have. So these are the second round of checking. So it can be a bit different here.
Right. Okay.
So in the third round, I don't have these three anymore, and that's why I have the next one, which are the third round categories checking. So these are the ones. So actually, I just play with it.
Sorry,
until
you
I
change
come.
it.
Yeah, you can change it anytime you want.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
So until I come to the last final bit of checking, which is this one. So this is the one. This is the final one.
Right.
So the color, actually, you can choose the color.
Yeah, don't worry. So if you go to the program and you arrive, yeah, just close this. You arrived at this from models,
Yes,
right?
models.
So models, this has the model representation of
Yeah.
your nodes.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Mhm.
Okay.
So you can just
Yeah.
create it from here. Notes. So and one is to create. So you go to. Sorry, where is it? You can just go to new model.
New model, okay. Explore new model.
So it depends here. You can just like this.
Yeah, and then drag and drop.
You go to item project, or you go to nodes, go to free node.
Right. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it will come there.
Yeah.
So it will generate it for you. So you can just
Right.
change the page. That's how we do it.
Right.
I can give you a tutorial if you want.
Oh, thank you. No, that's
If you are there.
yeah, that's actually very
But the most
nice.
important thing is you must have the transcript, read it, and then do the coding. Once you have the coding, you can retrieve all the pictures.
Yeah, when you have your transcript and you have written your notes, I mean, the themes.
But the coding, of course, you have to do it.
Yeah.
It will not generate for you.
That's the main thing that I learned. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Because apparently in NVivo, there's a huge hype around it. What it does is it does save you a lot of time, because if you are going to do this on paper, it's going to take so much work. But it's not going to do it for you. So
It will do it for you.
it is, yeah, it's just like, it's a good helping hand, but it's not a magic
Yeah, it's not
software.
magic.
So you have
You
to
still have to do
do
it on your own.
the analysis. Right. But the visual presentations are
Yeah,
nice.
this is very good. You can use it for your thesis, where you can explain about how you arrive to the themes and the process involved in that.
Right. That's good.
So if you want, I can give you a free tutorial on that. If you have your data, I can help you with that. So just give me a call.
That's really good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, because Asima mentioned about the data
Sure.
crash, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Can I just show from here?
I'm sorry.
You can use this one from file, skip everything. But you need to close the file first. This one. Okay, I just show from here. You will need to go to the file and then manage and then compact and repair. This one is not highlighted because Esther didn't close the file.
Yeah.
So when you use this, it will reduce the problem of, the data from crash with this other. And this one normally, I'm not sure how often you have to use this, but for me, I normally use this when I want to shut down the computer after I finish everything. So I will go to the file, manage, and then compact and repair.
Every time.
Every time I
and
want to
repair.
shut down.
And
But I'm not
this
sure
will-
how often actually you have to do
Right.
it.
Well, we can look this
I
up.
did read it that you have to
We
turn
can-
off the NVivo completely, exit
Yeah,
the
you have to close the
application
file
before
first.
Yes, but in my case, actually, I had not gone to the analysis stage. I think what I did was I showed you to Hafiz. I mean, the whole, sources, that folders I made, NVivo program was there, but all the folders have disappeared. So it's like I was building a library, and to take it on from there. Now I have to import all the interviews again. So I've created a new project, and
I sent you materials about NVivo. I downloaded from university
Yes.
a while ago, and manual, NVivo manual
Yeah.
for Mac and for.
Okay. I will put it on the blog. Do you want me to open it now?
No.
Okay, I will put it on the blog and on Facebook, so everyone can have a look. Right. And also the
Videos and stuff.
yeah, the other one. Right.
And the video has a series. I mean, after one you find session number 2, 3, 4.
So it's good to see we are on very similar grounds. We are really close to each other in terms of what we're doing right now. Right, because I think last time we talked about who has finished and who is just finishing their data collection. And this is, I think you have to worry about NVivo before you finish data collection. Actually, my supervisor said when I started, if you are going to use NVivo, you have to know that before you start collecting your data. Because she has the opinion that it will affect how the shape of the data that you are going to collect. I don't know how that will be, but I know that now, from what I've seen now, you don't need to in any way change your data. If you have your interviews or recordings or whatever, as long as you have them transcribed correctly, and because you are doing the theme analysis, you are assigning the themes, so you don't even have to worry about using the same language, because I had an impression that NVivo would help me automatically generate the themes, and I was worried about two people referring to the same theme using different words. And in that point they would look as two different themes, but because I'm doing it by hand, there's no need to worry about that. But I think you will have to read your interview a couple of times, because all of you who have done interviews and did transcriptions, I think you will agree with me, when you are writing down, you realize that the person was talking about something else that you were not very, very aware of. Sometimes I find that they are talking about something that is related to what I am asking, but not directly what I am asking. So I asked them about one thing and they answered about another thing. Now, when I am in the interview, I am too much caught up on my own ideas and what I am asking about, that sometimes I lose or I overlook what they are saying. But when I'm transcribing, I realize, oh, yeah, they were mentioning this and that, and they were referring to this thing. Yeah, it happens a lot, more than I care to acknowledge. It does happen a lot, because remember, when you're doing an interview, especially, well, it depends, I think, with the kind of interview that you're doing. But for me, I am under a huge amount of pressure when I'm doing an interview, because these are really high-ranking professionals. They are really busy. You can imagine how hectic it is in their office. One person I met, he had 6 PAs, so these 6 secretaries, a whole brigade of people working, and the telephone actually had like 3 telephones on his desk. It's always ringing. So you are so very disorientated. When you are transcribing, you realize they were talking about this and that, and that's why I sometimes read the transcription 2 times or 3 times, and I realize they are mentioning so much information, so much things, that the amount of themes that could essentially come out of that is really perplexing. So it is, I think, a good point that NVivo doesn't do it automatically, because there's so much it will miss. Actually, I am a human being and I am missing it. So that's good to know.
And for reliability check, you can ask your colleague maybe to read the transcript for you, and then you can use the coding comparison here. So you can compare between, and it will appear, the percentage of comparison will appear to see how much is similar and differences in terms of how you analyze it, and also your colleague. So you can use this function for reliability purposes. So I use this function to actually.
So sorry, 2 people would do the same thing?
Let's say if I want Hafiz to check my analysis, whether I'm doing it, because you cannot just do it on your own. You need someone to do something like interactive reliability to check your analysis.
Right.
So let's say I just use one of my transcript, I give it to Hafiz, and Hafiz will do the analysis. So we will compare here. So maybe here is from Hafiz folder, this is from mine. So and in the end, it will. The percentage will appear on the screen. How much differences and how much are the similarities of your.
Could you tell us where did you get to the?
I don't have the file here.
Sorry. In order to compare 2 different analyses, you have to go to coding comparison query.
Yes.
That is coding comparison query.
So we go to coding comparison.
And that is from the menu query, coding comparison query. Right. And you load up 2 user groups.
Yeah.
Or 2 different sets of analysis.
Yes, 2 sets of analysis.
One.
The same transcript, but different people analyze it.
Okay.
I have a question. Sorry,
and yeah. What would the outcome be?
The percentage. For example, like last time I used it, and then mine is 84.97.
So sorry, it is similarity percentage. Is that what?
Similarity and differences to see how similar your analysis with the other person. Yeah. So like last time when I used it, my other friend she scored about 94, 87. Mine is 84, so not so much of difference. So when I look at that, I know that we have almost the same.
Do they recommend a certain percentage that you have to be above?
Yeah, they will recommend it here. It depends, because you can use here whether you want to look at kappa coefficient or percentage agreement. So I will use this one.
So you have they have 2 different methods to
and from the guideline there, it will help you. There is one I read the help menu last time, and it will give you some description which percentage actually equal to some past reliability test, something like that. You can check that menu.
Okay.
Yeah. The info is there.
Yeah. Sorry, Michelle, you want to ask a question?
I wonder, because when you're analysing, in your mind you've got all your reading, you've got all of this knowledge of your topic. That may be very different to.
This is just example actually. I use someone who comes from the same field.
That was my question, because depending on a person's background, they could come up with very different things.
It is actually an example. I'm just using Hafiz as an example. But for my study, I asked my friend who is doing a study on, is in the same case like me. She's also doing a study on second language reading. So we both have the same knowledge with this field. So you have to choose someone from the same background.
Well, I think this feature is great when you are working in a team. So
yes, that's for the team.
But when you are doing your research by yourself, it's different.
But Hafiz, Muhammad, you can always create a subgroup from such a group as it progresses. That once we are all in that stage where we need some, I'm sure there are people who have similar research interests over here. And as the group keeps growing, we will find that. It's not necessary that you do it with this software only. It's this interoperability is to be like I give my transcript to another person.
Actually, we can add that.
We do it manually.
Yeah, to this group's objectives.
Yes.
Let's help ourselves with.
So you put in your maybe
so each person
write a small profile kind of a thing that this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, like Pyrus, does it on a very big scale.
Yeah.
So we do it on small.
So it's just two people who have similar research.
Two people.
Did you tell your iterator the themes you had already created before, or did you give her a black canvas?
We will compare it. Because she's also my friend is Indonesian, so she did the same study like mine, but it's just different context. So
so when you came up with your themes, did you show her?
No, I didn't show it to her.
So she went from.
She will do it on her own.
But
it's just that we share the same background.
Yeah, I understand.
So
it's great. It's really good.
But you have to find someone who has the same background.
Yeah, that's what this group is for.
And it is very difficult to actually find someone who has the same background. So this one is only recommended when you can find someone. But this one is like you said just now, when I'm using phenomenography approach, it is a group work where someone actually analyze the same data. That is more to the reliability issue in your thesis.
But I think taking on from exactly. So what I remember doing once, just probably read a section of like Naima's work. So she was doing analysis in her own way, and she asked me just to look at it and probably come out with a theme. And I did it, although yes, the context of my research would be somewhat similar. We're doing it in Pakistan and all that. That's the only similarity between me. But what themes I then took out and I wrote them down, and then Naima checked with her own themes, so they were more or less the same. So this is how we just do take out sections of our analysis or transcriptions, and we can maybe one time we can meet for such a thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing because we're going through the same things, so we will arrive at that point roughly around the same time, and we will do that as well.
I think I have Sakina.
Great. Anything else? Anyone wants to mention something?
Are you using
because in my case she's doing cross-cultural.
How is your writing up?
Yeah, I'm waiting for a date to submit.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Anytime next month.
So you did it for just one? Exactly. You just want to pick up random transcripts and do it.
Has it been getting to
I have a group of
Mohammed, we can if we can ask Anne as well if she has some points to maybe for our next
I wanted to build on Evan's question. That was you do member checking after you've done the interviews because you're not so sure about the quality of the data you have.
Yeah.
Due to all the distractions. Do you go back and do member checking? Like go back to give them a transcript and say, hey, this is what we had, this is what you said. Do you think this is appropriate of what you said and this is what you want to change?
I do.
Because that gives you enough time to go through what you go through to compare, because you might not have enough time to compare everybody.
Yeah.
Going back to someone, I know people who do interviews, and when you have it's not anonymous. So if you are in a journalist, for example, you would go with your transcript and say, do you agree to this? However,
you should do an anonymized transcript where the person knows that's what they said.
Yeah, it is a good idea. However, I suspect that they will have enough time and interest to check. Yeah, I am sure.
Not everybody.
Yeah, it's not suitable for everyone. If I could apply it, it would be really good because I am worried about the problem with
quality of data.
Yeah, quality of data, but I am sure most of them are not interested, vice chancellors. He doesn't have enough time, actually.
I've written summaries.
Yeah.
Given them summaries to say this is the information I plan on using it before I even start to analyse it.
Yeah. And what do they like say? Oh,
They've made some changes.
Yeah,
Did they make some
changes?
changes?
Because in my case, they did make changes.
Yeah.
Because I had like someone write, oh, I did transcription of like 2 pages, and I sent it to them. It came out in 4 pages. But like, oh, I forgot to tell you this. I had this, I did this.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's kind of something we need to think about as well.
Mine was in a different language as well.
Actually, I am going to try that. Even though I know
it takes time. But it's like out
More
of
information.
40,
Yeah, if I get more information.
I got like 15 with that.
Wow.
Okay, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, but it gives you more information, it gives you more insights and things. And like you said, people are referring to something else. We have to think about something else. And then you give them a chance to clarify what they're actually saying.
Yeah. That's
And then you're like, you're talking about this, that's right. And it's
Exactly.
clear, that's true.
Yeah, and then maybe sometimes what happens after the interview is that they remember something that really important they want to get across. So giving them the chance to do so.
Because
Right.
Time.
It is. My supervisor said the interview should be around 45 minutes to 1 hour, right? When I said in the interview, they were saying there's no way we're going to get that much
Your
time.
phone called me and I saw it one week and he asked me to call. Like, oh, that's him again? I'm like, oh yeah.
And they get distracted all the time. Actually, one person said, I can only give you 10 minutes.
Yeah,
What do you want with what you have, what you say?
it's very
Right.
difficult.
Anything else?
Anne had to say something.
And would you like to say something?
I just want to say thank you for letting me join in. It's so encouraging to see you guys.
Oh, you're most
It's
welcome.
quite isolating, and I know when you started last time, one of the things that you motivated you to start the group was actually being isolated. So I just think
Yes.
you're doing a brilliant job, and I just really appreciate all that you're doing. So
You're
thank
welcome.
you so much.
You're welcome. So she is thanking us guys for
Thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you,
Joining
Marianne.
us and
You can have a good night's sleep now.
you're going back to sleep.